to light an incense, and I'm like halfway tempted to get up and light one, but I'm gonna tell you this first so it doesn't look weird. Because today's stretching is dedicated to grounding a little bit, shaking off retrograde. I'll talk about what that was like for me, and it could just be in my head, but I feel like it's relevant to share, given the fact that that's the theme anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna grab an insight real quick, and then I will start. Okay. Something about aroma engages, of course, more of your senses, which calls you into your environment more and away from whatever thoughts you might want or need to release. And now she wants to go outside, so I will. Or not. Oh my gosh, she just played. She did just go out not that long ago, so now she doesn't have to go out. But that's also what I wanted to talk about too, with the whole retrograde thing. So I'm not exactly sure what the official end date of retrograde is. And this is as far as Mercury retrograde. Obviously, other planets can be retrograde as well. But I just noticed that my particular schedule and like just the way my body felt like in general was just like really heavy, and I was sleeping like excessively, like I still kind of am, and not even just like sleeping excessively, but also sleeping in like the weirdest times, like straight up. And so I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. I noticed it, and then I was like kind of like went more than 3 days, and so I was like, okay, this is kind of like something I should track. And so I started trying to figure out what it could be, and then that's when I realized it was Mercury retrograde. So that's when I was like, okay, maybe it's just in my head, but I noticed it before I even recognized that it was Mercury retrograde, because I try not to follow what is happening. I like to do what I just did, where it's like, okay, I noticed something, what could this be, versus to like anticipating something coming up, and then basically like making that happen. Oh, she's still. But anyway, so then I was like, okay, well, that's one thing I can like take observation of, because you get like, you know, the freedom of, you know, my situation. I have to look for the positives of being unemployed, which is that I can really study myself really full on without any interruptions or anything like that. So I also noticed I buy dog food for my dog, and she, you guys know if you follow me, she gets in her moods, but sometimes she won't eat it all for like several days, and I'm like, oh, she might be dying, and then she's fine. Or she'll like only want to eat certain foods, and she won't eat her dog food because I gave her like human food because I like gave in one day, and then it like made her turn nose up to everything else. But I noticed that I bought her food on the 4th. Her food was delivered on the 4th of March. And her bag is already almost gone. And normally her bag lasts her for the full month. So she has gone through her dog food so fast this month. So she's obviously having something going on with her too. In the same time that I am like, and I wouldn't even say it's like, oh, like I'm sleeping a lot, so she's eating a lot, because like my sleep schedule doesn't impact what she does on a regular basis. Like if I'm awake and moving around, she's still gonna be laying down. Like she's not, she's just like eating more. So I just feel like I'm trying to release that, whatever it was. Maybe it was necessary, like pulling me into something, and there's a lot of people talking about like different vortexes, which I don't even want to get into because that's not something I've personally experienced, and I don't want to be one of those people that like tries to sound like they know some shit they don't, because I already sound crazy talking about what I talk about. But I have been feeling like definitely like for lack of better words, like a gravitational pull internally, but like on a physical sense as well. And it's making me like feel like really heavy. And especially if you look at my TikToks for doing my handstands the last couple of days, like you might even notice like I'm like really wobbly. At least I noticed that, because before that I was pretty solid, and then I was just like, I just ended up doing like a solid wall handstand where like I was like using the wall to just like hold myself still for Eid, because I was like, I don't want to be like woo woo woo. I thought that would have been funny though, and I did think about that because there's like one of those prayers that they do. And I have a really one that sounds really cool. It looks cool because of where he's at. He's like, anyway. So it's not as dramatic when it's just me doing it, but I was like, it's gonna look like I'm walking because of how much I'm moving around. So I ended up doing a totally different thing, but yeah. I feel like it's necessary for me to release the feeling of being weighed down, and like I don't have control over what amount of sleep I want or the time that I want, because I do like to keep a good schedule, and I appreciate that I've been sleeping, because like honestly, obviously I don't need sleep, like oh my gosh I'm so exhausted, but like the shit that I go through, like if I could tell you without sounding even more crazy, you would probably understand. I remember I was going through like a lawsuit thing, and when everything was done and I was like feeling good about everything, and my lawyer was like, yeah, like people don't recognize that the stress you hold from like legal situations is like it's physical. And I mean, I guess in theory it makes sense, but he says he witnesses it all the time or something. I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, it does feel like that. Like internally, I'm just like dealing with so many things that it's like physically tiring, even though I'm not actually physically doing something. If that makes sense. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and think about in my mind releasing what feels heavy, not naming it as this specific thing, sleep for example, but instead thinking about what I want to replace it with. So I know that I want my schedule to be more traditional in a Western sense. I want to be able to take advantage of the daylight now that the sun is staying out longer. I want to be able to get some shit done. I guess she's seconding that. I just want to have like progress in I just feel like I have to turn so I don't look like I'm going full spread eagle in the camera. And she wants to come in, so let me let her up. Must step on the mat. Okay, where was I? I don't know. But I'm here now. Howdy. What are you doing? Oh gosh, okay. I see, it's my fault. It's all my fault. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. I have to fill the water. She's apparently not happy about it. She just literally threw a fit. Oh my god. That's crazy. Jeez. Oh my gosh, that was so aggressive. She literally, well, you probably heard. I went over to see what she was doing, and she was like, her bowl, like she's like a bowl for her food, and then like a jug thing for her water, and then it's all on top of the mat, and she like there's like a lip to the mat so you can like lift it, and she like took the lip of the mat and was like trying to like literally like flip the whole thing. And so as I'm like coming over to be like, what's going on? I guess I like scared her, and she goes to flip it, and the whole thing, because it's empty, which is, you know, hey, my bad, it like full flies over. Literally just like, fuck this. But like, I honestly probably, I mean, I would have noticed she was out of water, but that was a very clear indicator. Anyway, she was very particular about how she wanted to show me. And now she's not even drinking it. She just went in the other room. She didn't even try to drink it. Yeah, you're on camera. Anyways, did I already stretch this side? I'm gonna do each side. Square out my hips a little bit. It feels like Saturday. I saw this meme the other day, and it was like, it doesn't matter if it's, this is how I interpret it, this is definitely not what it said, this is how I interpret it, but it was like, it doesn't matter that Sarah is unemployed. And it's funny because it's true. I'm not trying to like, you know, make it a thing. I don't know. I just don't know. Life is one of those, you have options and then you have obligations. And my biggest obligation is to my dog, which I'm so grateful. drinking the water. She's just like walking around like. Then at least she came out of the room. Oh, this side feels good. I'm gonna try to hold each stretch for at least a minute to really ground into it. You know, not just trying to prove to myself that I can sit in it, but that I can hold it, but that I'm actually feeling the release. And like literally like visualizing and internalizing the feeling of releasing what was heavy. If that makes sense. So I have this friend that does, she does like some medicine, like song bowls and like different like Reiki sound bath things. And I've been really wanting to get into it. I know, I have a friend that's like a really, it sounds so weird, like a well-known masseuse. Apparently they have like actual like masseuse competitions, like worldwide, like different ways. And like when you think about it, there really are a lot of ways to get a massage, but they like straight up compete. So he does that shit. So I know if I brought it up to him, he'd probably be like, oh, I know somebody. But I don't know. I'm still not ready to interact with people. But I know it's getting warmer. And I want to make sure that I'm not just like completely hiding away for the rest of my life. I hold that one for at least a minute. I don't know. But I'm gonna go back to when I was doing this one because I remember that I started to. And then Zoe wanted to go outside. Ooh, you know what? Let me ease into that one first with my hands. Stretching. So I need to work on stretching my hands more. I think because this is a grounding one, I probably won't be talking as much. Because like the more I feel myself like releasing, the more I like obviously am not thinking about talking. I'm like, as I feel my body like sinking into the stretch, I can feel the tension release, and so that's what I'm imagining that like weight. And you guys, I think I said this in the last stream too, but I've really been thinking about doing a lymphatic drainage thing. I'm kind of nervous about it because I feel like there's always these like different methods of like altering one part of your system, like a system in your body that like ultimately impacts others, right? Like they're all connected. But like I know that my lymphatic system could use a good drainage, and just like I'm kind of worried that since like everything's been going really well for me lately, that'll offset something, like get a breakout or something like that. Because even like with having like pimples and stuff, like I get like stress pimples, and I have been like basically completely pimple free, which is saying something. You know, let me think. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna like not talk and just like I said, when you see me like holding a stretch, I am thinking about as I'm sinking into the stretch, because that's what you'll notice happening after you hold it for a couple like 30 seconds to a minute, whatever. When you feel yourself sinking into it, that's the moment I start to feel and think to myself, and now I'm releasing what was holding me. Because that is something that I personally felt during this particular retrograde, right? So I'm like literally attributing it to something that I felt. I'm not just thinking to myself, there's something I'm holding on to, I need to release. Like I felt something, and so I'm like, I'm gonna remember what that felt like, and I'm gonna push it away. So if there was something for you that you noticed during this retrograde, and again, like retrogrades, they don't have a definitive end date. They have residual, there's a word for it. They're in the ruminate for before and after whatever the specific cutoff date is, right? So, yeah, like there's maybe you were feeling like pain, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna like remember what that pain felt like, and I'm gonna push it away. Imagine yourself, your body, like literally removing that, like making that go away. Don't think about how it's doing it, just be like, and there it goes. Like that's the feeling I just felt of my body stretching and releasing is also the same thing that's releasing whatever that is that I want to get rid of. And only you know what that is that you felt that you need to get rid of. If you felt something at all, maybe you didn't. Maybe it's just relevant to some people dependent on their particular alignments in the first place, right? Which is obviously why knowing your actual chart is important, and why I do not claim to know anything. It's really like code. and no matter how hard I try to etch it into my body. Okay. So I was thinking about starting a garden. I mean, obviously, it's an option. I just don't know, like, it seems like the smart thing to do, right? With the world ending and, and all of that, but it's like realistically, okay. If I become the best gardener in this first season and everything goes well, I'm still not gonna have enough food to survive, like, a fucking famine, right? Like, let's be real. And like, yeah, so just like, okay, realistically, would I just be doing it for the aesthetic? And if that's the case, like, maybe it feels nice to garden. I know for a fact that like, when you have a real, like, established yard, it is actual work. So when I was growing up, I had like apple trees and cherry trees and freaking like these like really good plums. Really good plums. Oh my gosh. But it was a mess. It was a mess. And it's like no matter how much I love those fucking plums and I ate them all fucking summer, oh my gosh, I could not get sick of them. I still think about them. I couldn't eat them all. That is still a mess, you know? And I don't want to have to think about that. But I will say that my plants here aren't doing as well as I wanted. They're still alive, but I think it's just like the lack of consistent sunlight. And the thing is like the sun is actually getting better. But they seem to be not adjusting as of yet. And yo, maybe that's another retrograde thing. I didn't even think about that. I think my plants are also being impacted by retrograde. Because they were being really weird the last couple of days too. Crazy. Do you think I'm being poisoned? That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Like literally all at the same damn time. Recommend doing this and twisting all the way to the side. Oh my goodness. That was a really deep stretch I didn't know I could do. We'll have to run that back on the other side. Oh, ugh. So basically, I gotta remember what I just did because I already forgot. Oh, I should have thought about it before I moved so fast. Wasn't this? I think this is the opposite side. I'll end up doing both sides. Or maybe that side just really needed it. Anyways, turning to each side while having one leg pigeon behind you. Not that I'm saying anything relevant right now. That feels so nice. Section 6. Should call it the board. I was gonna say actually, as I'm doing this, like for me specifically, I do have to still really focus on keeping on my alignment because my natural, like I naturally want to lean to one side, which is for this case the leg that's stretched out. So I have to actually like make a conscious effort to like square out my hips when I'm doing this. So I'm not just like laying out. But it does feel nice when you get to the point where you can just use gravity and lay on yourself versus still like having the resistance of the lack of flexibility also fighting against the actual weight, you know. But if you can't reach your body straight away, like if this is hard for you to do, you can't get to your elbow or fist. Because obviously, like, the goal is to have your head on your shin or on the ground. And I could probably do it if I, like, sat in here for a little bit longer. But grab a pillow, something thick that you can just allow yourself to be able to rest on, and you'll still get that gradual. It happens every day, every day. But yeah, I could lay like that forever. And I feel like I like doing these deep stretches on camera because it's really, I think, important for people to understand the significance of holding stretches for longer periods of time versus just, you know, what you see on TV or like in the videos on YouTube. Because it's boring. But yin is something that allows your body to really, again, like ground and release and tap in to like feel what's going on. We need those. I think Mobility Monday is going to be good tomorrow. Okay. Got about 20 minutes left. Now there's certain things that I want to do. But while I'm sitting here, I just want to make sure there's nothing missing. This one's really nice for the lower back, hips area. At least for me right now. I always forget like what impact the stretch can have if I haven't done it in a minute. And I didn't do this one for a really long time. I think last week was the first time I did it. Trying to hold it for a minute without actually knowing and not zone out too much. make sure I can like let my neck hang back. That sounds weird. I don't know. It's like a trap stretch. I don't know how else to. I just feel it like I can rotate inward when I'm like this. I don't know what it looks like, but I know what it feels like. Hopefully, if you could see that, it makes some sort of sense. So I'm kind of like letting my neck drop in between, or my head drop in between my shoulder blades. And, okay. The next thing I was gonna do. I do this one often, but I think it's nice to be on the ground. Outside right now. It's like surprising. I don't even have anything on these headphones. I just didn't want to like do my hair, and I felt like the headphones made it look like I tried a lower. Okay, last few stretches I'm doing aren't going to be technically on the ground, but well, I guess they can kind of be, but they're more hip related. Just because y'all know I need to focus on my hips, and that's just something I gotta get in today regardless. But yeah, so I'm gonna start here. Actually, maybe I'll keep it on the ground, yeah. I'll just not lift my hands. Be fully grounded for today. keep my hands on the ground. And then, even though my feet are off, or my butt is up, I'm still on the ground. Hello, emojis. Hopefully this isn't super boring, but educational. Necessary stretching and the importance of holding stretches rather than just knowing stretches. Honestly, if I take my own advice and really just dedicate an hour a day to stretching just like this, I would be flexible as fuck. But it's like, I spend 1 hour stretching like this, like once a month. And then 1 hour a week stretching for the sake of being able to say that I can still stretch in some capacity. What's stopping me? By the way, stair stepper rocker thing is going well. I feel like it's weird having neighbors, because I was so used to not having neighbors for so long. Like, I try not to be super loud, but I can't really tell what is loud, because like I'm on the bottom floor and I don't really share walls with anybody, so it's kind of like just the sound, like the volume, and that obviously I have no idea like what how thick the walls are or anything like that for the ceiling. So yeah, I was using it last night, but technically it was like 3 a.m. and I remember thinking it sounded a little squeaky, but I also had headphones on. I had my headphones on, and so I was thinking later, like, if that was squeaky for me and I had headphones on, then maybe it was like actually pretty loud without headphones, and maybe it would have been a weird sound to hear at that time of the night. But I don't know. That neighbor that's like, what the fuck is that? Squeaking 3 a.m. I don't know. But it was nice. It was nice to be able to just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna get it in. And then it actually did feel like I was at the gym. Like, I ended up being lazy about it, and I got really close to the wall, so I didn't have to worry about like getting a little too comfortable and like actually tilting over. But I'm still obviously getting used to it, and I feel completely safe not toppling over on it. And so once I was kind of like holding onto the wall, obviously it's not like doing anything for my legs, it's really just support for falling over. It felt really nice. It was like I was kind of in like a gym state. And I was like, if I had on my actual like elliptical music, or like was in that state of mind to like really go for it, I think I could probably like full on like zone out, which would be really nice, because it wasn't like super painful. It was mostly just I was in a flow state sort of thing. Like once you kind of get in there, like when you're jumping rope, when you're jumping rope, you don't really feel like you're doing a lot of cardio. You're just jumping, and then all of a sudden you think back, and you're like, I was really just kind of jumping for about a minute there, But it's just, I don't know. At least that's how I feel when I'm jumping rope. Like I don't feel like I'm just jumping up and down. Something about having like a rhythm of the rope like puts you in sort of like a flow state. Puts me in sort of like a flow state. Which makes me feel like maybe I should buy a fucking jump rope. Do I need a jump rope? Do I have it? I might have a jump rope. I probably will. I would know if I did by now. I've moved pretty much everything. But I have moved everything. I've almost looked through everything. I kind of just like got really sick of looking through shit after I realized how much I'd accidentally given away. As I really kept thinking to myself, like, oh, I'm gonna find it. Like, no, it's just gonna be like tucked away in a box somewhere. And every time I would go and look into something, and it would be there. Fuck, that was the last place I was gonna look. But yeah, now I might have given away a pair of freaking shoes that were basically brand new. Clutch ass shoes too. Like, they weren't even like, sometimes you have to buy a pair of shoes. Like, you don't want to buy them, but like you get stuck in a situation where you have to, and it's like the worst. And I feel like that's usually how I come about gym shoes. It's like a pair of shoes that I was just like, I don't even really want these shoes anymore. Like, I really didn't need these shoes. I had to like have them for like, I got stuck somewhere and I needed to put on like actual shoes instead of like heels or something. But these ones I actually liked. Like, oh well, I guess on the bright side, they were basic black and white Nikes, so they're not going to be hard colors to replace. If they were limited edition type of shoe, it would probably be a lot more sad because it would be that much harder to replace them. So for that, I'm grateful. Definitely gave away a bunch of stuff by accident, though. Trying to look at the clock and not also not do the stretch the right way, but it feels nice. Nice. Okay. Well, let me be sure. I don't know where my phone is. It's right here. Yeah, it's exactly 12 o'clock here in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, so today is March 22nd, 2026, here on my Twitch channel, Pretty Radical. And yeah, I feel like the goal is to just recalibrate, release whatever Mercury retrograde may or may not have been providing that I didn't want or don't need or won't help me or whatever, and not to blame anything on anything, just to say that I noticed for me, my sleep schedule and the way my body physically felt impacted on like a cellular level and anatomic level, my dog's diet and how much food she's eaten in comparison to other times. And again, no specific change in schedule or anything in her life that would be different. And this drastic change in my plans during this exact same time. And I would talk more on what happened to my plans, but I don't want to put them off the last like that. And also, I still don't really know what's going except we're all in this building. Right? We're all in this particular set of walls, so it really isn't that significant. If I was leaving, my dog and I would always hear the things since they share the same air. Not just breathing. That's because there's something special about your one environment reflecting the things in your life. So again, hopefully I'm not being poisoned. I don't feel sick. I do feel very heavy and sleepy, but very well rested. I'm not gonna lie. I feel very grateful for my situation. The fact that I find my bed to be very comfortable. It's very strange. I've always, I don't know, again, maybe it's just because I had my bed for 5 years. And then it's like a new mattress. Maybe that's completely what it is, but I'm still like completely in the hiding phase with my mattress, my bed, everything else. So, yes. I love feeling like I can wake up and go back to sleep. So I'm not complaining about that. Yeah. Mental health check-in for those of you that are wondering. I am not suicidal. I am not on any substances. And if you're wondering, I feel very happy despite the horrible things going on in the world. I know that I don't know anything. That's what I know. I know I don't know shit. And I'm just glad that my dog is here with me. And yeah. Everything seems to be going alright, so I hope that you can see the same. Find something to say that about. There's gotta be something. Have a good rest of your week. Or start to your week.